Yes, thank you.
Okay. I have to go back a lot of years. After university, I lived in Greece for 14 months. And so I fell in love with Greek food. And somewhere along the way, someone gave me their homemade recipe for tzatziki, the way they make it. So it's different in the tzatziki that you get from the supermarket, or if you buy it in containers, because the ones we get are mostly a lot of yogurt and occasionally see little strips of cucumber pieces. The way they make it, and I don't know if you can see it as well, it's chock full of cucumber. So it's really refreshing. So what you start off with, it's a very, very simple thing to do, the entire process. Okay, that's the recipe. So you need something, well, it's called labna in that's, I would say, the Mid-Eastern word for very, very thick Greek yogurt. So we happen to have a Mid-Eastern store here, so I buy it. And then you need 3 or 4 cucumbers, and you have to seed them. And all you need is olive oil. Oh, I missed something there. What? Olive oil, white vinegar, and I'm missing the garlic. Okay, I'm gonna have to send you a remix on this recipe.
Okay.
I wrote it down, but I didn't write it all down. Okay. It's to 3 or 4 pieces of garlic. Okay, here it is in the picture.
Here you can see the garlic.
Okay, so you have, that's the labna, which is the grilled, it would be about half of that container. The vinegar, olive oil, and then you're gonna shred the cucumbers and the salt. And I'm using kosher salt because it's very granular, like the Greek salt. These are long English cucumbers, so I don't have to seed them. So I make my life a little easier.
Okay.
I wanted to show you, I have a spoon upside down here showing you that's how thick the yogurt is. So when you turn it upside down, it doesn't fall off the spoon. So you want the thickest yogurt you can find. And that's no vanilla or anything in it. Okay, so you can leave the skins on if you want, but I've taken off the skins here. And then you shred them in a Cuisinart. Now, first I shredded them so they're in long pieces, but I don't always like those long pieces when I scoop it up. So then I'll put my chopper blade in and I'll chop them up a little bit to get them a little finer. Now, this is the hardest part of the whole recipe. So if you can get through this, you can make it. You have to squeeze the liquid out of the cucumber. So basically you just take balls of it and squish it, and take balls of it and squish it till you get it all out. Then I let it drain for about an hour. I squish them all again, and they're nice and dry at that point. I chopped up my garlic. I showed you a garlic press before, so you have a choice. You either use the press or I chopped it up in my Cuisinart. So this is the drained cucumber. That's what it looks like at the end. So you're just mixing it all together. The cucumber, the yogurt, the oil, the vinegar, the garlic.
Oh, and the egg.
Egg? There's no egg.
There's no egg?
No, there's no egg.
Oh, I saw.
It's oil.
I saw yellow.
It's
You're right.
olive oil.
It's oil.
That was a different. We got another recipe for you today. He took a picture of an egg, and so this is it finished. And basically, you could spread it. Pizza is traditional. Just take a big pizza bread.
On the left, you see what you can buy in the supermarket in a container,
which will be just kind of white with an occasional piece of cucumber. Here, you're basically looking at cucumber everywhere. So that's the difference between the traditional one and the one in the stores.
Right.
And what do you like to use it on the most? How do you like to use it?
Pizza bread, because that's the way I was brought up on it. So you would rip up a big piles of pizza bread in a bowl and everybody kind of spreads it. However, I will serve it with, carrots and any way you would serve a dip, red peppers and.
I use either crackers and just grab it, or I use matzah.
You use what?
And any kind of cracker,
okay.
Yeah. So, or any kind of vegetable that you would use as a dip. It's very thick. Yeah. It's thicker than, a dip.
Do you put it on any hot like grilled vegetables or?
It would be wonderful on grilled vegetables. Now it's original. I don't know if that's the right word for use. When you saw the picture in Melbourne, is you would eat it on a souvlaki. So that would be a piece of pita bread. And then you would spread this all over the bread, and then you would have your slices of meat, or you would, if you're grilling lamb or beef on a barbecue, you could put them inside the pita bread, some tomatoes, some onions, some lettuce, and roll it all up and have a sandwich. So you use your pita, to make this.
Okay. Well, and if there's any left over, how long would it last in the refrigerator?
Oh, a long time, like a month.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, long time. Now, there's a couple of other things. Oh, here's
Stan having it on pita bread.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I was going to show you is, and this is when you talked about tips, long time ago, we were talking about people's tricks and tips. I buy a vinegar in bulk, and then I put it in a smaller container to use. So, you can save money on buying things by buying a bulk and just saving containers. And that happened to have been a maple syrup container. And so I save all these old, use them for something else. And then, because I was talking about maple syrup, do you have another picture? I just wanted to show you, we're from Quebec. 70% of the world's maple syrup comes from Quebec. You would buy it in a can. If you ever had a choice of buying it in a bottle or buying it in a can, the typical way is to buy it in a can, because the bottle, light can get in the bottle and degrade it. So it's always sold in cans here. And then
if you buy it, in those beautiful,
pretty bottles,
pretty glass bottles,
and you leave it in your fridge,
doesn't work.
And yeah, it's not as good. You see how dark the maple syrup is? That's how dark it should be. And then you just take out as much, from the can as you might use in, a couple of weeks, and then pour some more in. So that's how we have maple syrup here. It's maple syrup time now in Quebec.
Yeah.
The trees are running. They have these parties, cabana souks, which are the
sugar shacks
in the maple tree area, where they serve everything you can imagine with maple syrup on it, eggs and bacon. And
the last thing I wanted to show you
is milk here, but that was from another story, but we'll talk about it here. Our milk comes in bags. Can you see the plastic bag on top? And this is the bag, this is the milk. You would cut a little slit on an edge. The bag would go into this container, and you just pour it. So we don't have those square boxes or the big jugs that you have, and it stays really,
because
really
it's
fresh.
Totally airtight. We buy 4 liters at a time in 3 bags, and you just leave the bags in the fridge,
and they stay much fresher.
Anyway, it's
interesting.
Total aside.
I just thought we'd tell you about.
Interesting. There was one other question back on your tzatziki. Do you ever add dill to it? That was the question.
I never had, but I think it would go nicely.
Okay. I don't know who actually.
I love dill, so adding dill would be good. Dill and cucumber go very well together.
Okay. Can you go back to the written recipe again?
Okay, yes, but it's missing the garlic cloves. Whoever.
Okay, and it will be.
Go back.
If you can.
I'll send you a new one. I'm going to type it up.
Okay. Well, and if you could send that PowerPoint for the recipe, then we can make the blog, and then people could get it online.
Okay. He can go back to it. Just go back to it for whoever wanted it. He's trying to.
Okay.
1 second. I will go back. I'll go back to the original.
It was the second or third slide.
I know.
Okay, so basically you want 2 cups of labneh. That's kind of the size of when you buy sour cream or cottage cheese, that kind of size container. 16 ounces, or 3 or 4 cucumbers. It depends on how big they are. 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, salt, and 3 or 4 garlic cloves.
And you said you use the English cucumbers, so you don't have to seed it?
Yeah, well, if you don't have them in your part of the.
No, we do. Yeah.
Regular cucumbers, and just cut the seeds out, or we We love the tiny little, what are the little ones called? The
Oh, the little like Lebanese. cubes.
Lebanese cucumbers. They're very tiny and they have no seeds and you
Yeah,
eat them
they're
like
about, they're
candy.
about that big.
Yeah, they're very, very popular here.
Okay, I actually have seen them in Kroger.
Yeah, they're very sweet, like, yeah, very nice.
Okay. One other question, and then it's after 7, and I know people have to go, so we could officially end. But let me just do this one other question from David in California. In Australia, was the electricity 220 or 110? And was it the same as in Canada? Could you
No,
use your cell phone?
It was, I'm pretty sure it was the same as the UK,
That doesn't answer the question.
which was not the same as Canada. It's 220 with the weird shaped
Plug.
plug.
And for cell phone, we use Wi-Fi wherever we are.
Okay.
And you use, well, what's that?
Well, I use,
WhatsApp, or you use a cell phone?
yeah, I mean, I use Magic Jack.
For when we're in different
to
parts
make
of the
calls,
world.
I can call all around the world, or WhatsApp, or
But we mostly, we're in someone's house, so we'll use their Wi-Fi, and we'll use Wi-Fi out in restaurants or malls or wherever
I
we
used
are.
to buy a SIM card wherever we went, and then I discovered
We didn't need
it
it.
wasn't worth it.
Okay. All right. Well, Stan and Sandra, thank you so much.